Welcome. I'm the Black Cuber, and in today's tutorial, or I guess in-depth episode, we'll try and make this in-depth episode 2, I believe. And it's going to be on how to solve a 4x4 Rubik's Cube blindfolded. So, let's get started. There's a fire on the fire brigade. So tonight we losing this fight. So tonight is Now, the 4x4 may seem intimidating to some people, and to some extent it kind of is. And I learned from Noah Arthur's tutorial, and there's a couple of things that he didn't really explain too well. And for y'all who don't really know who I am, I'm not any like famous speed before blind solve or anything, but I do average like 11-ish, 11 to 11, 12-ish, which is relatively decent, I guess, for a 4-blinder. I don't know. And I'm not the most qualified person in the world to make a tutorial, but there's only one other tutorial out there on YouTube that actually explains stuff. So I wanted to be a helpful person, I guess, and explain how to solve a 4x4 Rubik's Cube blindfolded. So first, this is going to be part 1. Part 1 is just going to be an overview of 4 blind solving and like everything you need to know about 4 blind solving. And then part 2 is going to be execution. And then part 3 is going to be an example solve. So first things first, let's examine the pieces of the 4x4. There are the corners that you're gonna need to know. There are the wings, and there are centers. Now, like I said, it may seem intimidating, but they're honestly not difficult, especially with this even layered cube. So the centers don't take up as much memorization as they should if you find the right orientation. And wings, on the other hand, are going to be like your biggest hit because it's where your orientation comes into play. For solving 4-blind, you need to have your orientation down, and I mean like down. Like because for your orientation, you don't have no center pieces to rely on. Hold on. Unlike for a 3x3, you actually get pieces you can rely on because you have the center pieces, so you know, okay, well, if this is orange, and I know this orange. So this sticker right here this is E, or at least E in my lettering scheme. It needs to go right here. So but I know because this is orange, so I know, okay, well, this is the orange side because of the sticker. This is the center cap. You don't have that option in 4-blind. You have to like know your memorization so darn well. I'm sorry, you have to know your memorization so well that you'll know where the pieces need to go. Jeez, like, what's with this lighting? Hold on. Okay. So there are 24 wings, and the first thing, the heck is with this lighting? Okay, this is pretty much the best thing you have to go with, so please follow along if you can. So there are 8 corner targets, and let me just go over how wings work first. So this is your buffer, and the method we're going to be using to solve it is called the R2 method. And if you know M2 on the 3x3, if you know the M2 method on 3x3, then you're pretty much golden. If you don't, go learn it, because you actually have to know M2 to solve a 4x4 blindfolded. If you don't know the M2 method, then you're pretty much out of luck. So I recommend go watch it. I would like plug my video on M2, but I don't have one. And I'm not going to make one because that's just a lot of work. JPerm has a tutorial on M2, so it's a really good tutorial. It's the one I learned from. So if you don't know M2, go learn it before you watch this video and continue. So this is your buffer, and just like exactly M2, you to solve the pieces, you're going to be using small r2. So let's go over the lettering scheme real quickly. This is A, your buffer. And then you go, when you go around in clockwise motion, you skip one. You skip the one that's right next to it. So if this is A, we're gonna skip this one, and this is gonna be B. So this is A, B, and skip this one. C, skip this one, and that's D. So A, B, C, and then D. And then immediately rotate the cube like this, and then start again from this position. So this is E, F, G, H. And Then you go over here and it's I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X. Now, the lettering scheme for 4-blind, especially on wings, can get really confusing and maybe difficult to track. And what some people like to do is they like to track pieces, like on 6-blind and stuff, 6+ blind. Personally, I don't like to track. I just, like, if I forget which target I need to go to, I'll just kind of count the lettering scheme and be like, okay, it needs to go right here or something like that. Corners are super easy. The method you're going to use for this is Old Pockman until you learn transitions from wings to corners, or whatever method you use. So let's say, so the order you want to solve is you want to solve your centers first, then your wings, and then your corners last. I personally use the 2-style method to solve my corners because it's just easier for me. But you're going to use the Old Pockman method. So if you know Old Pockman and you know M2, then you're literally golden. You can solve a 4-blind already, and you thought you couldn't. But there's just 3 more things you need to learn before you can actually even attempt it. 1, you need to learn the U2 method to solve your centers. What the U2 method is, it's basically like M2 except for centers. You solve your centers by doing a U2 and swapping them. So let me give you the lettering scheme for centers first. So we're gonna start right here. This is gonna be A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. Except this is your buffer, and you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to mess. This is your buffer, and this is your helper. So these are the 2 pieces that you don't have to worry about. These are your 2 buffers. These 2 pieces you will have to worry about. Except my lettering scheme was kind of screwed up in the beginning because the person who taught me said that this was B and not D, so I kind of got confused. So right now this is just B, and it's kind of better anyways. So, but it's A, B, C, D. This is D, so learn that. And then it's just like corners on 3x3. These are just like corners. We have A, B, C, and D, and then E, F, G, and H. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Exactly like corners all around the cube. So now you got the lettering scheme down. Let me just show you some targets that we need to go to. Okay, so here's an example. Let's say this sticker needs to go to L in my lettering scheme, and then L needs to go to H. So the way we can do this is we have to set up to this piece because this is our helper. So every piece you have on every target you have needs to go to this sticker right here. So for instance, if this sticker it needs to go to L, then what I can do is I'll have all the in execution. I'll have all the list of the setup moves that you can do, but for centers, again, it's intuitive. You kind of make up your own setup moves, or you like figure out your own setup moves, and that's what. But I didn't like that, so I know y'all aren't gonna like that. So I'll have all my setup moves in the description box in the next video for execution, but this is gonna be a quick example. So what I can do is I can move this out of the way and set up to that piece, and then bring it back up, and now that they're right there. And then you do a U2 because you want to swap them. So do a U2 as your interchange because these two are not going to swap. So U2 is your interchange, and then undo your setup move. And then now you've solved that piece. And then now you're going to realize that this is going to be offset by U2, but it's okay because if you have an odd number of target, then that's parity, and I'll teach you parity in a little bit. And if you have an even number of targets, it'll be right back to normal. So this needs to go at H now. H is really easy setup to get there right here. I'll bring this down and then insert this piece like that. That's inserted. Bring it up. U2 is my interchange, and then undo. So it's super easy. Like I said, centers are intuitive and you can figure them out mostly on your own. And now I'm just gonna move on to a quick parity. So parity how parity works is if you have an odd number of targets, solve your centers first, solve your wings second, and then solve your corners last. I don't know how it's gonna work if you solve corners first. I know there's like methods for that, but I don't do it. So parity, let me give you an example of parity real quick. Alright, so let's say you have a target like this, where this piece needs to go to L, but that's your last target. So you're going to be offset by U2. So if I go to that target, I realize that my layer is going to be offset by U2. And parity, I don't think parity can honestly get any more easier than this right here. Parity for centers is just U2. It's so freaking easy. Like, I don't know how you can mess it up. It's too easy. It's the easiest parity in the world. So if you have an odd number of centers, after you finish your center targets, do a U2. If you don't, you're gonna screw up your wings, and then you don't want that to happen. Wing targets, wing parity is where if you have an odd number of wing targets, you have to do the parity algorithm, which goes like this. I don't really know how to do that slowly, but I'll have it in the description box in the next video, like I said. Alright, so let's say we get this case, and you're on your last two targets, so I need to go to Q. And then next we have I, and then so once you get to an odd number, of targets, so let me solve I. You're gonna be offset by a small R2, and you're probably thinking, oh, okay, I'll just do an R2 and bam, I'm solved. Nah, because then these two will be opposites. So what you want to do is, once you get to parity, do a small R2 to where now this P portion is solved, and then you're gonna set up to this case. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do this. You're gonna move this out of the way. So you're gonna do D prime, L prime, F to set up to these two targets right there, and then you're gonna do the parity algorithm. And then you're gonna undo your setup move. So F prime, L, D. And that's parity for wings. Parity for corners is a lot easier, and it kind of looks cool, I guess. I don't know. So let's say you're on your last corner target, right? So when you finished your wing parity, you finished your centers and wing parity. Now you're on the corner parity. So let's say you're onto your last corner target if we're doing old pocket corners. Okay, and then now you know you have parity because these two are offset, but everything else is solved. So what you want to do, you want to do a U2, and what people give this long algorithm, but I broke it down into triggers because it's just a lot easier. So you want to do a U2, and then they'll tell you to do this, but that's just a sexy move. So U2, sexy move, the parity algorithm you use. I recommend using this parity algorithm because me personally, it's just a lot easier to do. Well, it's better for like in this case. I recommend you do this parity algorithm. So just a sexy move, and then the parity algorithm goes like this. Hold on 1 second. This is the parity algorithm. It's a wide U2, wide R2, U2, small R2, U2, wide R2, wide U2. So once you get back to this, do a sexy move, and then this parity algorithm for PLL parity, and then now you just do an ugly, or I call it ugly because it's my trigger. It's just anti-sexy, and then a U2, and that's corner parity. Super easy. So U2, sexy, PLL parity algorithm, ugly or anti-sexy, then U2. Super easy. So this is pretty much an overview. It's really easy. It's not too difficult. So don't struggle with it. And I'll see you in the next video of execution. Peace.